Lost all my control of the right way. Sipping little juice on a Friday. Wrote this hook, buzzed in the dive bar. Now everybody sing it, oh my God. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, yeah. Go back and take a look at all the freezing in the rhyme, yeah. Bartender give the nod, I say I'm doing fine, yeah. Cruncho in my blood, got me speaking double time, yeah. If you speak my name in vain, you might just cross the line, yeah. Acting like these other motherfuckers in the limelight. Words becoming dull, it's time to sharpen up their hindsight. People getting Humpty Dumpty, I come with the rewrite. Look between the smoky lines underneath the black light. Now I don't need another couple, I just need a change. Cause lately it don't feel right, and you've been playing games. Lost all my control of the right way. Sipping little juice on a Friday. Wrote this hook, buzzed in the dive bar. Now everybody sing it, oh my God. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, yeah. I will be the guy who go ahead and blur the lines now. I ain't ever fitting with no crowd, I guess that my town. Shot a bullet popping from the hammers that I lie down. If you say my name in vain, you might just cross the line, yeah. I think it up, hey. Then I hit record until you press play. Used to pray to God right before I went to sleep that my hook melodies would give me to my dreams. Ooh yeah, dump on my cup like I dump on my fucks, it's all part of my plan. Making my point and I'm pointing at you. You taking a dive while I'm taking a stand. I don't need another couple, I just need a change. Cause lately it don't feel right, and you've been playing games. Lost all my control of the right way. Sipping little juice on a Friday. Wrote this hook, buzzed in the dive bar. Now everybody sing it, oh my God. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, yeah. Now everybody sing it, oh my God. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, yeah. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh yeah, yeah.
All right, check. Hello. Awesome. Let's go ahead and kick it over to the live screen. How you doing, guys? What's going on? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. We got a lot to look forward to over the next couple of days. Actually, it might actually come all the way up until early December, so who knows. All right, so I'm going to talk about the macro side of things, what I think is going to happen. Obviously, with it kind of spiking up to 13.8, that's putting a lot of people in shock. I'm not too worried about it, though. I think I have what it might try to do figured out. And it makes a whole lot of sense in my head, at least. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started on this. Let's look at the daily chart. Looking at this, I kind of have everything marked out that's relevant. The ascending wedge that we're looking at, and I kind of extended it back in time just to show you how much confluence this singular trend line has with it. So back here, the top of the Adam and Eve, to this support back here, to this support here, to this support here. All All right, so that's a very, very nice trend line. There's a potential chance that this could be what we use in order to get up to the higher numbers. I don't want to say that for sure because we still have the macro trend line, and that's a possibility as well. That's going to take a whole lot more time comparative to the diagonal from the ascending wedge. But with us kind of being stuck right now above the ascending wedge, there is a chance for a breakout to the upside. But, you know, I do think that this is actually going to be used as a trap. What's going to happen here, and so I go down to the lower time frames as well. You can see we have resistance at about 13.8, 13.75 on the averages. And we are looking very, 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 very similar to what we did back here. You can see as we pumped up, we had this little bit of a diagonal. Let's actually get rid of the extended lines on that and make this a solid. You can see we have the diagonal here, pump up, come back down, double bottom, retest, and then range for a little bit. That seems to be the exact same thing that's happening right here. Diagonal, pump up, double bottom, come up and retest. So I'm looking for a rejection off of this, to be honest. What I'm thinking is the diagonal used from the top of the ascending wedge and the horizontal at 13.8, which is in confluence with this diagonal over here. I know I don't have it exactly where it's supposed to be. It should be down here at 13.3. But this seems like a good place just because we found a bounce here and a bounce here. So it's kind of in that in-between zone. So that's why I have the horizontal there. Obviously, it lines up with where we're currently at as well with 13.75. So with us being trapped between that, there's a high chance that this turns into what would look like an ascending triangle. You can see we come up and then probably do a little bit of this. Now, with it being an ascending triangle, most, normal traders, they're going to look at that as a potential for another pump up. Ascending triangle, bullish pattern. I see it as a potential trap. We've seen ascending triangles break to the downside, in the past, particularly back here, I believe. We had the ascending triangle here, horizontal, diagonal, ascending triangle, dump down. Similar thing happened right here as well. So that's what I'm looking to happen. Now, where we go to retest after that breakdown, that's a little bit crucial. Now, my ideology of what could happen, obviously the first place we'll be looking for is $12,000 for a breakdown of there, retest there. But ultimately, what I think could happen is possibly turn this into a inverse head and shoulders here. Reason being is I think that's what we normally wanted to do at first, but got a little bit too excited on this FOMO. That would have made a lot more sense to carry us forward into the future if we wanted to have awesome progress to the upside. But with us pumping up this fast, it just doesn't look that good in my eyes. So that's why I think a massive dump down could be what's happening here. Also, with that, we're going to go back into Elliott waves and go back and count those waves and see where we're at comparative if my account's right. So we're going to go ahead and let's go to the 6 hour. Seems like a good thing to do. All right, so I'm looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and to find where 5 should end up, we're looking at the length of 3 to 4, and you can see we're in that 1.618 region. Obviously, if we take it off this support, we're pretty much at it exactly. So that's why I'm really thinking that a massive dump here, not massive in terms of like thousands and thousands of dollars, but possibly back down to the 11,000 region is a likelihood. What this would actually look like to me is if we go ahead and have a dump down to 12,000, a retest back up to 12,665, and then a dump down to 11,100, that would look like an ABC pattern, a correction that we could possibly use to continue pumping up. That's why I think there's a lot of things pointing to us not getting past this 13.8 region at the moment. If you guys have been following along on the Telegram, you guys will know I am short from the $13,400 region with my stop loss close to 14,000. It's 13,950. Just give a little bit of room. But yeah, that's why I think right now it's really not the time to be longing. Obviously, there might be a little bit of time for scalping in between this range, between the diagonal, until it starts shortening up. But I just don't think that it's a likelihood at all for me in particular. But hopefully that explains pretty well why I think, this is not entirely too exciting for us to be up at this region just yet. Obviously, there is the opposite side of things. You could say, well, we are above the diagonal resistance of the ascending wedge. We are above the last local high on the daily averages. There's a lot of things that you could say. But for me, those are my reasons. All right, let's go ahead and say hi real quick. I just kind of dove right into it. Wire, how you doing, man? What's going on? Ernesto, what's up, man? John, how you doing? Kyle, what's up, my dude? What's up? David, we hear you. Excellent. 123 Rabbit, how you doing, man? Stuart, what's going on? Andrew, hey Kite, how much leverage do you think is smart if I'm doing the $100 account growth challenge? So you know me, leverage is always dependent on stop loss and how much you're willing to risk. So if you're going with a 1% risk, I can't really do it without the calculator on me. I used to be able to just do it off the top of my head. Oh, is that? Oh no, I have to re-download Excel. That kind of sucks. Let me try to get on top of that while we're doing this in the live stream. Which one is the one that I have? I have Office. Oh. I'll just have to go get it later. But using the risk reward calculator, just kind of figure out what your risk tolerance could be. Figure out your trading style. And then on top of that, get some practice. Figure out what your win ratio is. And that can help you determine how much you can risk per trade. When I did the $100 account challenge, I think I did 10% risk on each trade. And then it kind of got a little out of hand and started doing 50% risk, which worked for quite a bit of time and got me up from 100 to $10,000 pretty quick. But you have to have the winning percentage and you have to have the results backing up. That's all I gotta say. All right. Let's see. Google Sheets, I can do that as well, but I already paid for Office. I paid $6.99 a month. You may get stopped out tonight. I don't doubt it. Obviously a wick up could be possible, but like I said, with all those things lining up in this perfect trap region, kind of getting people too excited in the possibility of us breaking back down into this ascending wedge. Because I think it would make more sense that we kind of climb up this ascending wedge all the way up until 16.8, get rejected off of that, and then hopefully fall back down to 13.8, 12.5, or possibly with the size of this ascending wedge, possibly even $10,000, going back down and retesting that horizontal from the Adam and Eve. Very rarely do we ever do that, but we did do that on the last bull run. We did have to come back down, retest that horizontal, whereas previous ones really didn't. Sammy Smith, how you doing, man? I'm doing absolutely fantastic. It's been a good Friday. Went over and helped my mom a little bit. She's trying to do a yard sale, so had to move a whole bunch of stuff, but we're doing awesome. Let's see. $100, 100x. No. Weekly MACD divergence. So, we've talked about this a lot of times. Simple people are going to look at the MACD. They're going to see a bullish divergence. Now, I'm not saying that bullish divergence is a bearish thing. I'm just trying to open your eyes to the fact that a lot of these indicators, since they are massively used, it's a herd indicator. It's going to be there not only to help you a little bit, but it's also going to be there to trick you. And you have to think about how momentum folds over. This entire run-up has been built off of bearish divergence. So we talked about how bearish divergence, it's like throwing a ball against a glass window. And if the bearish divergence ends in bullish convergence, the ball is just going to bounce off. And so it might go 25% down, but it's going to come 75% back. So if you continue to do that over and over and over again, eventually we might end up in a situation where it's the opposite. Maybe we're looking at bullish divergence with bearish convergence. And hopefully, obviously I'm not talking on my ass here. Let's go check it out and see if that is the case. All right, so we're looking at the daily. Daily does have the bearish divergence as well. We've been looking at that. Only thing is we're looking for a bullish convergence as well. Now, awesome thing is, we've been looking at a lot of these altcoins and when they might capitulate and have breakouts. If you look at the same thing, obviously we can't see it on price action for Bitcoin, but if you look at the diagonals that Bitcoin is shaping up on the RSI on the daily, you can see those line up for that kind of 70% mark of this wedge that's building around July. So maybe that's a sign that we're not really looking for any major price action until July. Makes sense though. Typically we've had those kind of massive bottoms around July, and then it goes pumping all the way up until December 17th. And if you guys don't know the significance of December 17th, go back, check all of those dates. They signify bottoms and tops of pretty much everything. It's quite insane when you look at it, that one simple date pretty much holds the key to our futures. Kite, man with the plans. Hope you're doing well. How you doing, Barry? I'm doing fantastic, man. But yeah, Bitcoin's looking like it's in a good spot. Obviously, I'm looking to take that short trade. And I think it just makes a whole lot of sense for us to come back and either get an inverse head and shoulders here and then kind of just propel our way upwards. And like I said, I'm looking for a dump here, but I don't think it's going to be, like the coronavirus one, but I mean, that's a large ascending wedge. But I do think hopefully we kind of get rejected here. Hopefully either double bottom off of this or come down to the 10,000 region and double bottom off of that and then start going back up. Fish, what are you doing, man? Actually, that ascending wedge also lines up around July. So who's to say that we don't break out to the upside on that? But always, I'm looking to the downside first just because it is a bearish pattern. I have no doubt in my mind that BTC will moon. I'm just looking at how it's going to get there. Nothing ever goes straight up. You have to think about the supports that it needs to retest. Obviously, 12.5 is going to be one of those supports eventually, just because of the last local high over here. So that makes a whole lot of sense in my mind. And that might be what we're doing in this range. Kind of maybe we don't go all the way back down to 11.5. Maybe we kind of just range between 13.8 and 12.5 all the way up until April, and then finally have a breakout to the upside. That might be a case that we're looking at. Well, I am looking at the legacy trend. This I think, in my eyes, this diagonal here, this trend actually has a whole lot more validity than the legacy trend does, because this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches, whereas this one has. And if you don't think there can be a dump down to the legacy trend, which is this right here, I mean, that's even lower. So what I'm talking about is actually a little bit more bullish. Well, I guess I consider going down bullish as well, as long as you hold those supports and retest them. But the legacy trend line is a lot farther away than what we're talking about here. Let's go ahead and talk about ETH. Obviously, there's nothing really to talk about on ETH personally. It's the same thing over and over again. I'm going to come to this chart. I'm going to say we have a gigantic double bottom on the macro chart. 337 is going to be your support and resistance, your if this then that statement, whether or not it is going to continue up to those heights. Now, me personally, I am still holding a long off of Ethereum. I'm really looking at this as a gigantic play for my account personally. Now, there is always the chance that we go back down and retest this diagonal. Hopefully, if that does happen, that adds to the solidification of this logarithmic curve that we're looking at on the macros. That way, hopefully, sometime in the future, sometime maybe around July, you can see that's kind of where that's sitting as well. We start pumping upwards along with the rest of the coins. Looking at XRP, that is in capitulation. We don't have a whole lot more time. That's looking for early February to late, early January to late February for a breakout on that. So make sure to keep your eyes on XRP for a break of this macro diagonal. I would definitely be looking at that as a potential buy-in. Obviously, if you want to go off of horizontals, you're looking at somewhere between 31.15 cents. That would probably be a good place to insert some capital. But ultimately, as long as this diagonal holds, you should have a good uptrend going on to get up to these all-time highs. Look at the legacy trend. There will be no dump. No, we are still under it. 14K is re-entry. We're under the legacy trend line. Are you talking about this? I wouldn't count that. The curvature on that is more logarithmic than it is a diagonal. No. Don't touch that. And I mean, all in all, we're still sitting pretty good. We're above the diagonal downtrend. So there is always the possibility that we have to go back down and retest that. But I don't think so. Austin, my lord, I will be in the chambers if you need my assistance. Well, thank you. Surfer last night had a pretty funny joke. We were in the Discord having our weekly meeting, and he goes, "Austin, is that you?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "I just couldn't tell. I couldn't hear a vape being hit up, every 30 seconds." So I thought that was he cut into me there. Okay, that's a little bit creepy. All right, XMR, my baby, it's still kind of sitting where it needs to sit, holding above that last local high at 115. Obviously, if that still holds, I'm looking good on that. Now, there is always the chance that we go back down and retest the other local high around $95. That support resistance is a possibility. But you guys know me, with a double bottom, as long as we're above the neckline, there's no real reason to be bearish. Always a possibility on these altcoins. I think we saw in EOS, it actually went back below that local high. Yeah, that happened a long, long time ago. That's actually very, very unfortunate. Hopefully we do not get another dump down. Although it is kind of looking likely, we do have a head and shoulders. So there is a possibility. It's not a bad thing in particular. There will be a possibility of perhaps picking up another buy-in around the $2 mark on EOS. Now, EOS, obviously looking for capitulation as well around July. So I mean, that's always exciting. So make sure to get your buy-ins if we do happen to dip down. Now, if you're looking at any of these really, really low cap altcoins, those have been hitting bottoms and breaking through them. So I would be very, very wary on those. Obviously, if you have a specific pattern, one of the altcoins that we looked at, I forgot which one it was. Maybe it was a Digibyte. I'm not sure. I don't think it was Digibyte. Oh, that's not even the right one. Yeah, Digibyte. Digibyte has a descending wedge. We can already see we got one bounce off of there. So hopefully, stuff like that, you could get an easy buy-in on it. But anything else, we looked at Ravencoin last night. That was slipping through the cracks. I wouldn't really look at that. Link. Link's looking good. Let's see. I'm trying to look for any confluence on these. We have that middle trend line that we're sitting on here. The kind of cross point between these. So I would say if we stay above that, we're probably good. Solid support around $8.59, if anything. Kind of marking out our ranges here. Yeah, looks good. Let's look at the no bullishly diverging. It's looking halfway decent because we do have the bullish divergence right here that it's kind of projecting itself off of. But with this slow climb, it could turn into a bear flag just as easy. Who knows? We might actually have to go back down and retest $4.90 if it does happen to break through the $8.55 mark. You could actually probably make a shift pitchfork off of this. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I'll probably take this to this. How the hell does this thing work? I'm looking like an idiot on that one. I was trying to make a shift pitch for it because the way this trend line here goes perfectly in the middle. I do not use those things all that often. Yeah, we're not even going to try on that one. My bad. All right. Let's see. We talked about Link, Digibyte, ETH, XRP, Link, Bitcoin. Throw some coins at me. More than welcome to look at anything. As long as there's price history to be had, there's always technical analysis to be had as well. I'm curious to what you're talking about, Josh, with legacy trend. I just don't see what you're seeing. Mitch, morning, Kite. How you doing, man? Good morning to you as well. Probably mark these out with a different color. Let's go with white. Then we'll do dotted line. Make it thick. Say what you want to say about the conditions for trading the past couple of months, but they've been absolutely perfect. I kind of talked to this with one of my students last night on just how simple this can be for you guys. I mean, really looking at this, what my plan usually is after we have a massive pump up and I take profits where I see necessary, I kind of wait to see what it does. I don't touch it for a couple days. I let it see its first rejection and first bounce. Hopefully on the first bounce, we do get a double bottom. That way I can take my first long. But simply put, you would have one just from, okay, I know this seems ridiculous to say this with past price action, but just from this rejection here on the 2 hour to this first bounce, all right, you have 1, 2, 3. We'll mark this out with yellow. You have a failed short here, a failed breakout long here. Maybe, just maybe, you went ahead and took a failed long here. Keep this red. You got a short here, a long here, and a short here. All right, when this forming a head and shoulders after this spike up here, you should be expecting it to break through this support. But even though you lost 3 trades, let's say you're risking 2% of your account. And I know what you might be saying right now. Well, this would not have been a long trade here. Look where the wicks go. Wicks go exactly where my line's at. All right, so I usually give myself some breathing room on the second bounce after a double bottom because it's usually going to be a higher low. Same thing goes for tops as well. And these didn't even really wick up all that much. So as long as you had a stable stop loss, you wouldn't have gotten wicked out. So let's say you're risking 2% of your account on each of these trades. All right, these are about 4.5 risk reward ratios back and forth. All right, so you added 10% to your account. You know, it's 9, but I'm just rounding up. 20, 30. You lost 2%. So now you're 28, 26, 24%. Now you're back to 34%. 45%, and then probably 65% with a 10 risk reward ratio off of this. So within that entire range, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades that you won and you lost 3. So just make it simple on yourself, guys. That's why I'm trying to, predict it the same exact way up here. No reason not to. Now, these things are going to happen. These are going to happen either way. So take your chances on them. But when you win so many trades, what does it matter? Over here, trying to look at the same thing. We have a nice little tiny double bottom, but with this one, it's a little bit more difficult. Hopefully we do happen to break down to the 12.6 range and go ahead and try to find support off of that as well. I need a bigger range in order for me to scalp swing this. It's not really a gigantic swing and it's not really a small scalp. It's somewhere, it's the golden ratio when it comes to trading, back and forth trades. I really don't feel comfortable with this. There might be 1, 2, maybe 3 trades out of this. But if this does happen to turn into an ascending triangle, which is going to ultimately, I think, break down, the range is going to be too short for me to take any nice trades off of that. Will you be making any trades on other altcoins on Bybit now that Bybit added a few more tethered pairs? I'll take a look at them definitely and see how previous price action, what kind of patterns we get out of those. Because I'm ultimately looking for easy, simple things to trade. That's not really going to take up too much of my time. Did the CME already close the monthly? I'm not quite sure on that. I really don't follow the CMEs at all. I know a lot of people go, well, you have to look for gaps and stuff, but I really don't think, you're going to be surprised. I'm loving the average price candles and horizontal resistance, keeping it simple, and it's working for me. Absolutely, like I just showed you. And over here as well. All right. This is where we made a lot of money on the $100 account because we kept it simple. Even on the smaller time frames where we scalped, we kept it simple and we did pretty well. So over here, we have our first rejection. That one we were actually able to catch because it was a smaller double top, and I think I was playing like the 5-minute time frame off of that. So we were able to catch the double top on that. We caught the bottom. We rode that up. We did the same exact thing. This was our resistance. I got a short in right here, right before it dipped back down. Over here, I took a breakout long on this. Unfortunately, I didn't get the bottom exactly. Although I do think it wicked pretty dang close. Yep, pretty much on the money. Over here, this one was a failed short. Now, that kind of sucked that night, to be honest, because I knew that we were going to get rejected at the 10.5 mark. And I was actually looking for 10,370. But unfortunately, I was trading Tether on Bybit at that point, and we got to 10,350 before we happened to jump back down. That was unfortunate. And then we kind of had the month-long hiatus there just because the range is shortening up. And that's why I was trying to reiterate to one of my students the other night. Take as many trades as you can that are full-bodied, and then once the range starts shortening up, why are you still trying to trade it? You're losing out on risk-to-reward ratio, and you're stressing out because you're just trying to figure out where this thing's going to go. Just give it time, let it figure itself out. Take the breakout trade when the breakout trade is necessary, and then go ahead and do the same thing over and over and over again. Simple. So what is the $100 account TA now? It's gone. It's gone. I really don't have time to mess around with that at the moment. Like I said, it was me trying to be too ballsy. Because at the rate that I was going, I could have been done. I could have been from $100 to $250,000 in less than a month. But unfortunately, with how risky I was playing that, it just took, I think 5 or 6 losses, and it pretty much put me all the way back down to like $1,000. So I just said, you know what? Before I lose it all, we're just gonna call it quits. Gabriel, how you doing, man? No problem. You don't have to be sorry you're late. It's a live stream. There's always gonna be the VOD afterwards. I actually have to fix the whatchamacallit, the live stream thumbnails on the last 2. Something going on with my Streamlabs, not uploading the thumbnails. You didn't take any profit? I took a little bit of profit, but not enough to say that it was a total win. I mean, obviously, I do think it was a win, but I had personal high hopes. We were trying to go from $100 to $250,000 in 6 months, which is a good time frame for me personally, but I try to go way too fast. But I think, 1 week we went from $100 to $10,000. That blew me away, honestly. Just from, that was the first time I tried to do anything like that. Who knows? Who knows? That's what I'm hoping I'll see. I hope it actually happens a little bit faster than that. Hopefully like a triple top here and then break down. And then hopefully get that a little bit closer right here. So I do want to try to get a buy-in off of this solid support here at 11,100. I think that'll just be a little bit better for my stop loss and all that. So then actually this short was too early with Ethereum to have a double top. Should be around 13.8, shouldn't it be? Absolutely. But since I am playing this a lot more swing based, because I'm not really looking to range trade this, I'm actually looking at this as my stop loss is all the way up here. But I took it around 13,500 just because I got in a little bit late. But I was calling for 13,400. But I wasn't playing on the smaller time frames anyways. I was actually playing on these time frames here. And also looking at this resistance in particular. How far did we wick up on this last rejection here? Oh, we wicked up pretty good. Oh, we got all the way up to 13,649. Check out Theta. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and do that. Theta token. Looks like we're about to have a nice double bottom along the solid support from back here. And so we got rejection, rejection, breakout. So that's a nice support resistance. Then we're finding a double bottom off it there. As well as that, we have exaggerated bullish divergence coming off of a hidden bearish divergence here. So we have that divergence folding into the convergence. Well, not convergence, exaggerated bullish divergence. It was pretty close. So that's actually a very, very nice storm that we got going for that. So, I mean, we're still pretty close to the support, depending on, how you're playing this. You might be able to pick up a little bit more. Ultimately, diagonal resistance here. Obviously, would love to see it become horizontal resistance and you kind of just range back and forth. Yeah, that's pretty much it on the lower time frames. Looking at the higher time frames. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good thing that's going on right now. Considering that we're going back down to retest previous resistance. Already seeing signs of a double bottom. You can see that we're starting to get a double bottom on the daily RSI near the 40, which is what we previously got a bounce off of to lunge up to where we're currently at. So, I mean, that's actually pretty dang good in my eyes, coming from a technical analysis standpoint. Can I take a look at UMA? Absolutely. Pretty sure we looked at this the other day. I thought there was a little bit more price action. Yeah, okay. All right, UMA, we have a diagonal support here. Looks like we're going to be hitting it soon. Let me look at the 2 hour. It has a little bit more ways to go, possibly. But it looks like we do have a bullishly diverging RSI on the 2 hour. So we could be finding a bottom anytime soon. And that's kind of lining up with the previous bottoms over here. So we could probably be looking for anywhere between $6.76 to possibly hitting this diagonal here at about $6.38. But with it capitulating like that, let me look at the daily. What's the daily looking like? It's pretty much an exact copy of price action. That's not entirely what I want to see. But we do have horizontal support and then diagonal resistance coming off of this. So we're looking for capitulation for a possible breakout early November. So in the next couple of days, actually. Hey, Kite, you don't use MC anymore? Not recently. Obviously, my subscription ran out, and I just don't think it's a necessity. I've been showing a lot of people that you can do a lot more with price action than you think. Really, what I teach my students off the bat is just use price action. Later, once you have the basic strategy down and you can really just figure yourself through it without any indicators, add simple indicators. You can either do market cipher if you still have it, or you can just do simple MACD and RSI, looking for divergences that line up with what you're currently trying to do, especially on the macro time frame. So when it comes to the 2 hour, I don't think indicators are a necessity at all. Support and resistance is pretty much exactly calling the shots. Liked your video with the 4 time frame method using MC. Absolutely. That was one of my earliest kind of strategies when I started trading. It was the first real one that I kind of developed. And it just made sense to me that if you saw upwards price action when you push past the 0 on MC, if you extrapolated that out to 4 different time frames that all lined up the same, your odds went up. That was kind of my thinking on it. Link bat. Yeah, we already checked out Link, but we'll check out bat. So we're looking at the 6 hour here. Let's go out to daily. This actually doesn't look too hot, to be honest. Now we're already oversold on the daily RSI, but there is still a chance that we try to push back down to 16.1 cents. Now, the reason why that's not necessarily a bad thing is that would actually create a macro inverse head and shoulders here. I'm not saying that it's going to, but that is a possibility, and that's the positive outcome that could come from this. Because you can see on the daily, we're already pushed past this flip-flop support region. The next one that it could possibly fall down to is 18 cents, but past that, you got 17 cents, and then you got that solid support that we were looking at before that. But with the daily being oversold, let's look at the weekly. Actually, we'll take out the 3-day first. 3 days still has some time, but we'll see where that goes. Looks like it's trying to go back up and retest that $19 resistance. Yeah, but just as a final refresher, I honestly think that this is probably going to be a top for Bitcoin for a while, until we start pushing up in this ascending wedge. We talked about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lining up perfectly. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 lines up with the 1.618 from the 3 to the 4. And then we're looking for an ABC correction down to possibly retest the 4. But with the diagonal here holding it up, we might only get down to the $11,000 mark. But hopefully, if that does happen, the ABC will look something like this. And then we'll probably ABC up it again from here, here to here. And then possibly start a smaller 1, 2, 3, 4 up this until we finally get a crackdown.
You're wondering, can I do it? Well, you're going to find out.
All right. But with that being said, guys, I appreciate your time tonight. We took a look at some of the other coins. We had a great in-depth on why I think Bitcoin is going to dump here soon. And obviously, anything can be done. We are above the resistance of the diagonal of the ascending wedge. So, with us going into an ascending triangle that is a bullish pattern, there is the possibility that we do break up. We're always watching for those types of things. Currently, at the moment, the resistance is sitting at 13.8 K. So if we do see anything higher than that, we could possibly take a breakout long. Next major resistance is going to be at 16.928. So that would actually be pretty awesome if that did happen. Now, the reason why I think that might be particularly awesome is we could get a nice range above there. There's not a whole lot of room for ranging coming up here shortly. Obviously, if we can get stuck between January 8th to perhaps May 1st, there might be a good couple trades in between that. We just have to kind of see how it works out. But if there is a range that happens to form, and I don't see any real diagonal support or resistance forming anytime soon, that will be called out on the Telegram group. Just at the moment, I don't see it, so I can't really call it out. The only thing that I can see is a rejection off at 13.8, possibly back down to the $11,100 region. All right. With that being said, I appreciate your time today. And as always, in the description, there is the Patreon group if you do want to join the Telegram, or you can always join the one-time payment where you get 4 sessions, usually lasting about an hour and a half. You get access to the Discord group, which we have weekly meetings on, as well as that, you get lifetime Telegram as well. And there is the Bybit affiliate link in the description. If you sign up with that, it'll help me get giveaways for the channel. I told you guys last live stream, we have a couple $100 in there. I'm trying to get 1,000. That way we can do a massive giveaway. And hopefully in the future, as the viewership grows, we can do more and more. So I appreciate your time today, guys. And I'll see you on Monday. Hopefully we have a lot to talk about. It's moving slow right now, but it is what it is. All right, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye. John, good stream, Kite. Have a good weekend. Absolutely, man. I thank you. Thanks for showing up, man. What's going to be my outro song? I'm so excited for this election, man. I'm just excited to watch like my favorite people watch the election. That's pretty much what I'm looking forward to. I'm just going to be sitting on the Joe Rogan podcast when that election happens. Anybody see the Alex Jones podcast that he just did? He's getting all this hate on it. Goodbye, Kite. Thanks a lot. Take care. Keep it on going. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, Radosh. Thanks, man. I'm glad to be back.
Let me show you my path.
And we're doing good on our weight, too. We're down to 203 on the scale. We've lost, we've lost quite a bit of weight so far. My aim is by February to be skinny Kite once again. And I think that's good because I'm trying to lose, let's see, we started at 210, trying to get down to about 160. So that's about 50 pounds. That's about 10 pounds a month. I think that's absolutely fantastic to do.
Think positively. Think positively.
So my release radar.
So this was my first introduction to the concept that maybe reality was not fixed and something that you were a victim of, but rather you could do something. There was some mechanism, some technique, some tools you could use to get some control over your environment.
All right, guys. I appreciate it. I got my song selected. I'll see you guys on Monday at 6 p.m. EST. As always, be there or be diamond shaped. That's in a kite. But yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. Love you as always, and I'll see you later. All right, bye. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah. Sometimes we get so caught up in trying to be successful that we forget to take a look at how far we've come. Go. Whoa. Guess it's time to reset, huh? Yeah. Focus on my goal, pursue my personal legend. I realize what I'm worth and I finally come to collect it. Life is too precious, I won't waste another second. So every day that I wake up, I hustle for what I'm destined. I'm coming up with everybody who believed in me. Finally seen the top and I'm in love with all the scenery. Mind elevated now, becoming who I need to be. I gotta cut y'all off if you ain't on the same frequency. To make a name, you gotta sacrifice a lot. I'm the motherfucking best, I'm sick of acting like I'm not. Told them I'ma die a legend, watch your man devise a plot. Why these other whack rappers only advertising guap? I was born different, and I'm about about to break the mold. I'm only gonna surround myself with those who have goals, with infinite potential in my body and my soul. I could open up your mind if y'all could keep your mouth closed. Aim for the top and I fell in love with the journey, and never lost sight when all the waters got murky. Dropped out of college, got paid like attorneys. It's a Hall of Fame hustle, check the price up on the jersey. The shit is effortless, surpassing every milestone. Fully independent, all these labels getting dial tones. My eyes closed, daydreaming on my flight home. A 9 to 5's illogical with hounds switching time zones. This meditation, I'm relieving the stress. They was plotting on my fall and now they see me progress. They was sleeping on a kid, I guess they needed some rest. But now I'm about to wake them up to witness me at my best. Yeah, I found my true potential and my grind became ruthless. Inspire those around me from the purpose that I move with. Me, myself, and I be the pieces to the blueprint. Damn, this beat slaps, huh? Guess who produced it? It's yours truly, turn my life to raw beauty. When I open up my mind like I was tripping off Lucy. Tripping on flights, y'all are tripping off groupies. And I know y'all hear me coming like I'm letting off Uzis. You move different when you know you gotta have it. Then everything you want, it starts appearing like magic. If all you do is hope, then no wonder you're so stagnant. You're a product of your thoughts and all of your daily habits. You gotta take action, cause every day is a gift. All my dreams came true the moment I made the switch. From a lost soul just hoping to get rich, to a true divine spirit whose only focus is bliss. I never slowed down, no, my drive relentless, cause results are the product of the time invested. All love, I don't struggle trying to find acceptance, cause I put no worth on their blind perception. Damn, it's time to bring back the faith of my generation and show them all the product of hustle and dedication. Never lose hope in the dream, just keep chasing. Everything you want is right around the corner, be patient. Yeah. Another day, another chance to celebrate, right? I mean, when all three of your meals were eaten in 3 separate states, and you got champagne waiting for you on the third one, I mean, what else to do? Woke up and we poppin' champagne. I guess it's time to turn it up. Got paid when I stepped on the stage. Been coming with the flame, we burning up.